Do you want the Baltimore Ravens to win on Thursday Night Football against the Miami Dolphins? Do you want free Ravens videos almost every single day? Then you've come to the right place. Subscribe today for free to Ravens Rundown by hitting that big red button right now. Tom Downey here. Let's take a look at some of the rumors and news out there around Baltimore, from injuries to maybe signing a free agent. The biggest name out there by a massive margin, Odell Beckham Jr. OBJ remains a free agent and could sign soon. At any point, there's been 18 different reports of this team's the favorite, that team's the favorite. The one apparent constant is that Beckham wants to go to a postseason contender, and allegedly leaked to ESPN that there would be issues if a bad team claims him. Of course, he went unclaimed. Now he can sign wherever. The Ravens, who for several years had needed a receiver, have not been linked to Odell Beckham in any capacity. And frankly, I think that's for the best for Baltimore. They don't really need Odell Beckham. Now, if you could promise me New York Giants peak Odell Beckham, okay, I'm intrigued by that. Let's have that conversation. Then again, the reason why OBJ is available is because he's no longer peak prime Odell Beckham. The guy in Cleveland, who the Ravens saw plenty of, hasn't been the same player anymore. He has regressed. The numbers are almost half in terms of like the games played. The actual stats, though, are not that close to half, especially touchdowns. OBJ is not prime net fighting OBJ anymore, or at least maybe he's not the winner against the net. He's been pretty bad. Now, the 5 main teams that have been linked so far to Odell Beckham began with the Seahawks are the favorite. Wait, no, it's the Packers. Wait, the Saints, the Chiefs, Patriots. It's been all over the map. I think the truth here is nobody knows where OBJ is going to end up playing. The report of, he wanted to go to Seattle. Well, he had his eye on the Packers and all the Saints, or maybe KC or the Patriots, all over the map. It's inconsistent. Nobody really knows anything. I think anyone saying that they do is probably maybe lying or being lied to, but the constant is the Ravens have not been on that list. And frankly, good. I am excited to see what Rashod Bateman continues to do in his rookie year, in his first season with Baltimore. You've got Marquise Brown as a home run threat. Sammy Watkins, in theory, should be healthy at some point in the near future. Devin Duvernay, Tylan Wallace, James Prochet, Miles Boykin. It's actually not bad depth for Baltimore. So I think my answer is pretty clear, but I want to hear from you guys in the comments section. Would you sign Odell Beckham if you were the Baltimore Ravens? Type in OBJ for yes, NOBJ for no. One of our fun little weigh-ins here at Chat Sports. We get the ad break here on YouTube. Head on down to that pinned comment and let me know. I'm going to type NOBJ myself. Ravens don't need him. Not something I thought I would have said even a year and a half ago, but that's pretty darn intriguing in terms of the situation for Odell Beckham moving forward. I say pass. Frankly, if I'm Baltimore, I got bigger, more important needs and players to look at potentially replacing, like DeShon Elliott, the safety, who, in what seems profoundly painful, suffered a torn pec and a torn biceps in the Ravens' Week 9 win against the Minnesota Vikings. So for the third time in 4 seasons, I think that's the right number there, Elliott's season ends early due to injury. Now, on the bright-ish side, the Ravens actually do have some solid safety depth. With Chuck Clark has been a very promising young player for them. They've got Anthony Levine, Geno Stone, my boy Ardarius Washington as depth as well, and Brandon Stevens. In a rare moment of unity across Ravens fans, everyone will be saying, let's go Brandon in that case. I am excited to see what Stevens can do, the 3rd-round pick out of SMU. But they could explore external options if they don't trust Levine or one of those backups. SB Nation put together 3 potential names: Demarius Randall, Trey Boston, Kenny Vaccaro. We'll spend some time on each of those three players in terms of how they could work in Baltimore. But before we dive in, I want you guys to pick one for me. Type DR for Demarius Randall, type TB for Trey Boston, or type in KV for Kenny Vaccaro. I don't think any real wrong answers. So head down to the comments and have some nice, friendly, non-mean-spirited debate for me. Let's go player by player, starting with Demarius Randall. Now, Randall spent the preseason with the Seahawks. He has bounced around between corner and safety and back and forth every which way. At this point, having been unable to make the Seahawks roster, I think he's done. I don't think Randall is a good football player anymore. Not that he was ever great to begin with. He's bounced around. He gives you, I get the corner safety flex, but Seattle's not good in the secondary at the beginning of the year. They didn't even want Randall. I say pass on him. The other two names, though, I'm intrigued by. There was the report, which I don't even know if you want to call it report, from Adam Schefter of Trey Boston's agent says he's vaxxed and healthy and ready to go, a.k.a. somebody please sign my client. I do like Trey Boston. I think he'd be a good addition to this safety room for the Ravens. I think the vaccination part is certainly a big factor in potentially not signing players, but he checks off that box, so you're all set from that perspective. I like Boston. He's been a starter. If you want some veteran depth, I'm all for it. I'm in the exact same boat, by the way, with Kenny Vaccaro, who I've liked for a long time, dating back to his days at Texas. 5 tackles for loss, 5 PBUs, so bit better, I think, around line of scrimmage compared to a deeper-ish safety than Demarius Randall. If you want a veteran safety, there are some good players out there for Baltimore. I would not complain whatsoever if they went out and signed one of them. Now, if you want to bet on the Ravens game this Thursday night, do it with our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Head over to chatsports.com/bet and use the promo code you guys see on screen. That is chat125. It gets you a 125% deposit bonus. That's $100 in. Boom. Extra 125 to bet with as well. Now, the Ravens are a 7.5-point favorite on the road despite the uncertainty around who will start at quarterback for Miami. I'm going to bet Jacoby Brissett. I like the Ravens to cover that spread. Been a bit of a close-ish affair too frequently against lesser opponents. Looking at you, Lions, for the Ravens this year, but I think they cover on the road. Thursday Night Football is weird, so if you don't want to bet on that game, it's all good. You bet on every single Ravens game, every NFL game, prop bets, and a whole lot more with BetUS. So again, get the 125% deposit bonus when you put down $100 by using promo code CHAT125 at chatsports.com/bet. All right, speaking of this game, the final injury report is out for the Baltimore Ravens. We will focus in here to start on the 2 doubtful players. Then we can revisit the questionable guys. That means Latavius Murray and Patrick McCarry. Both of them dealing with ankle injuries. Both of them listed as doubtful. I would be surprised if either guy was able to go. I think doubtful might be a bit generous. Let's start with McCarry. If he is unable to go as it relates to the offensive line here for the Baltimore Ravens, I would venture to say that Tyree Phillips, let's go to that depth chart there, producer Jeff. I would venture to say that Phillips ends up being the guy. Keep an eye, though, on Cedric Ogbuehi as another potential option for the Ravens. He has been promoted to the active roster. Villanueva there on the left side. I think Phillips gets the start, but hey, I could be wrong. We'll monitor that one pretty heavily. All right, Latavius Murray is next up here. Ankle also doubtful as well. Not a huge surprise as it relates to him not practicing at all this week. Murray and McCarry have missed every practice on a condensed week. Had this been a normal week of practice, maybe they're able to give it a go and play, but with the doubtful status, short time frame to recover, seems unlikely Murray ends up being able to play this week for the Ravens, which means I expect a heavy dosage once again of both Devonta Freeman and Lev Bell. Freeman had his best game in a while, and his best ever game as a member of the Ravens, 13 carries, 79 yards. Lev Bell had 11 carries, only 48 yards, though, on the ground. I was surprised to see him not be that involved in the passing game, but, the ground game looked the best it's looked in a long time, and that is a big deal, I believe, for Baltimore. More injury notes coming up, but first, predict the score of the Ravens-Dolphins game. I assume everybody here is going to be picking Baltimore. If you're not, let me know you got the Dolphins winning for whatever reason, but head down to the comments section and predict that score for me of the Ravens against the Dolphins. All right, Nick Boyle, Brandon Williams, Sammy Watkins. Now, Williams did not participate today, Wednesday. Bit of a red flag there. We will see how he does with his shoulder issue. Nick Boyle was limited. I would bet he ends up playing. And then there's Sammy Watkins, who was supposed to go last week for the Ravens, then kind of got pulled out last second. So again, I think it'll be a game time decision. I think this is the week, though, that Watkins returns to the lineup. But just one note, by the way, I hope they continue to utilize Marquise Brown heavily. He was actually on the earlier injury report week, but he is now off it, which is the exact same situation for Tavon Young. Young had been listed on the injury report earlier this week. He is now off it with no game day designation, meaning he will be cleared to play for the Baltimore Ravens, a very good sign entering NFL Week 10. For more Ravens news, rumors, everything, offseason stuff as well around your favorite team, hit that big red button and subscribe today.